Hey there, and welcome to my channel. My name is Justin, and if you're new here, well, so am I. This is actually my very first full-fledged Budget with Me YouTube video. So come along with me as I go through this journey, breaking stereotypes and building wealth. If you're wondering why I chose that slogan, I have a trailer video on my channel. It's about 6.5 minutes long. Go ahead and watch that. It will go through who I am, why I started this channel, and a little brief synopsis of my journey thus far. The purpose of this video, however, is it's Friday. Every Friday for me is a day where I budget any supplemental income that I've made for that week. I get paid a full-time position paycheck every other week on Wednesdays. I plan on making bi-weekly budget with me videos revolving around allocating my regular paycheck. But every Friday, I also plan on making videos allocating my supplemental income from other income streams. This is a very special Friday because not only is it going to be a flex Friday where I budget my flex income, but it's also the last Friday of the month. So I will also be walking you through how I analyze at the macro level my spending and my income for the month. I do that to make sure that I'm on track with my goals, make sure I'm moving in the right direction, and identify any issues or trajectory changes that I need to make moving forward. So with that, in my trailer video, I alluded to my budget system a little bit. So I use Monarch Money and YNAB. I'm fairly new to YNAB. I've been using it for a couple weeks. I'm loving it. More than likely, I'm going to be subscribing for a full year coming up. But I have been using Monarch Money to get my financial situation under control for the last year. I'm finally at that point in my life. Monarch Money has gotten me to that position. YNAB is going to move me further into financial independence with their more detail-oriented budgeting system. So this is my dashboard. I like the reports in Monarch, so I use them to kind of assess my macro level spending and financial analysis. One of the charts that I use pretty regularly is this comparative chart. You have options to compare this month to last month, this month to last year, and this week to last week. So I use these to kind of see if I'm keeping my spending pretty regular through the month compared to last year and maybe compared to last week. I don't really do a week-to-week comparison. The way my paychecks are, my weeks are always going to be different because I'm spending at different points in the month because of that. But I use the month-to-month and the month-to-year comparisons. So we'll look at this month compared to last month. As you can see, I'm right around the same amount in terms of spending. This month is a little bit higher than last month because my renter's insurance, which is a non-regular annual bill, was due a couple days ago. And so that's where that kind of extra spending took place. Compared to last year is going to be a very big difference. As you can see, the trend is fairly the same, right? A linear trend spending throughout the month. But there is a gap of about $500 or $600 of spending last year that I'm not doing this year. So in my trailer video, I alluded to the fact that I had a really bad cash flow situation when I started a year ago. I've gotten it under control, but ultimately I was spending more than I was making, and that is not a very sustainable system. So you can kind of see that here, where in November of last year, I was spending significantly higher than I am now. And so, like I said, I'm super proud of what Monarch has done for me and where it's gotten me in my financial journey. And I'm excited to see what YNAB does to kind of put me over the edge and get me in a much better position than I am already currently in. Some of the other reports that I look at, I like to look at my income and my spending reports. These are very similar to YNAB in the way they structure their donut chart and their categories, but I really like this sand key graphic that gives you basically a picture of your income and your expenses and kind of where things are going. So as you can see, I have my regular paycheck, and one of the side hustles that I do is plasma donation. If you're not familiar with that, a couple times a week, I go to a donation center, and I get hooked up to a machine and I donate plasma. You get paid for that. It's not a lot of money. On average, it's about $100 a week if you donate twice. 2 times a week is the max you can donate. If you're interested in that, I donate with BioLife. CSL also does donations. There's a couple different donation centers. If you're looking for some extra income, if you're looking to not only get paid, but also doing something that's going to benefit somebody else, I would look into donating plasma, donating blood, something like that. One of the income streams that's not going to be on here for the month of November, I haven't done it in a while. I think the last time I did was in February or March of this year, is occasionally I will drive for Uber. I don't do it a lot. One, I have a brand new car, so I don't really want to put a lot of miles on my vehicle. I live in a state where windshield cracks are highly prevalent, and so I actually just recently replaced my windshield because of rock chips from driving Uber. And so it's something that I do rarely if I'm looking for some quick extra money and not restricted by plasma donation. I will go do a couple of shifts of Uber throughout the month. But like I said, I haven't done that in a while. So if you do see that, that's kind of where that comes from. What I do with my flex spending is I don't budget that money for my regular bills. It's not steady income. It fluctuates because I might not donate or drive as often week to week or month to month. But also the amount of money that you can make is drastically different from day to day, month to month, week to week. I try not to use that money to budget for regular bills. All of my regular bills, I use my full-time regular money, regular income to pay for those. Plasma income, Uber income, those are things that I use to bulk up my savings goals, my sinking funds, or just my discretionary spending. So that is, in a nutshell, how I use Monarch to look at my spending for the month. Now we're going to shift over to my YNAB. And like I said, I'm new to YNAB, but my day-to-day, month-to-month budgeting is going to be done in YNAB. So this is my budget for the month of November. You'll see I have $40 ready to assign. That is going to be money that I got a couple days ago from donating plasma. So I have a plan for that already, and we'll get into that shortly. But this is my setup for YNAB and how I budget. As you can see, I have a ton of accounts that are linked. I have a couple accounts that are manual. What I learned through the year of getting my cash flow under control using Monarch is I need to have separation of my money. In order for me to be successful, I need to be able to separate my money into specific accounts for specific things. So I have 2 main checking accounts. I have an income checking account. That's where all of my money comes in. And I have a bill pay checking account. That's where all of my money gets spent out of. All of these other checking and savings accounts have a sole purpose, whether they're a sinking fund, whether they're a holding fund for gas and grocery or my next month's bills, or savings goals. Each of these supplementary accounts have a purpose, and that's what works best for me. This might overwhelm some of you. Like I said, it's taken me a year to get this system to my liking, but most people generally work with a checking account and a savings account and maybe another high yield savings account. I have several across different banks. I also have my plasma card, so that's where all of my plasma money goes. I haven't transferred that money from my plasma to my income yet. I will be doing that probably after this video. I also have an Uber card, so that's where my Uber income goes. Again, I transfer that into my income account and then gets divvied where it needs to. And just like most of you, I have credit card debt. I have 2 credit cards. Both of them are carrying a balance. We'll take care of this balance here shortly. But my Ally credit card, I am on track to getting that fully paid off in January. January is a 3 paycheck month for me. I get paid biweekly, so a couple times a year is a 3 paycheck month. January happens to be one of those 3 paycheck months, and I am going to be focusing that paycheck or that extra bonus paycheck towards paying off my credit card debt. I won't be debt free. One of the accounts that I don't have on here, which I'm not really tracking this way, is my car loan. So I do have a car loan. I've had this vehicle for a couple years now. I will probably have that car loan for another couple years, but I hope to focus a lot of my extra money on paying that off as I can. My groups and my categories, as you'll see, are structured very similar to my accounts. So I have my sinking funds as their own groups. I have my savings goals as their own groups. I have my bill pay as a group. That is how I like to structure mine. I do it this way because I like to see the assigned and available to match what is over in my account for some of these. Now that I've got my overview of my spending done and I've introduced you to how my budget system works in YNAB, we now need to allocate this $40. Again, I'm going to transfer it. Probably after I make this video, I'll transfer it and move it into the account that it needs to go into. But for now, this is going to all go into my this is going to go into my discretionary spending. So I am overspent a little bit in my discretionary spending. This is because I had to buy a few things in order to make this YouTube channel happen: a webcam, a microphone, and some lights. I planned for that to be used using this flex income, and so this is something I've already pre-planned. I'm just now putting pen to paper. So we are going to add that $40 to that account. That's going to give me a little bit extra in my discretionary spending. But ultimately what that's going to do is it is going to give me the amount of money that I need to pay off that credit card balance for Capital One. So most of this spending I put on my credit card, knowing that I was going to be getting this extra $40 this week. So now I have the money that's needed to make that payment. I could make that payment today. More than likely, I probably won't. I'll probably wait until the 4th when I get paid my regular paycheck, and I'll make that payment then. But it's good to know that I have the money available for that payment. One of the last things I'll show you is my November budget is pretty much, so like I said, I started this kind of midway through the month. So a lot of these I don't have included in here. I've snoozed the target. But as you can see, everything that is spent has been budgeted. I'm on track in a lot of my non-monthly areas. What I like to see is my underfunded category is the exact amount of this credit card, which means all of my other items are fully funded and on track for the month of November. For the month of December, I have a couple bills that are too large to be paid by any one paycheck. And so I set money aside. So for the month of December, rent and storage, I set that money aside out of my paychecks in November. So I set aside $9.85 for each paycheck into a separate account. That is this next month hold account for my rent. I also set that money aside for my storage unit, and unique to this month and probably unique to next month, you'll also see I have $121 sitting in that account so that I can make my my credit card payment to my Ally credit card. Like I said, I'm not quite ready to pay that one off yet. That one won't be paid off until January, but the last couple months I've been paying $121 a month to kind of bring down that balance in preparation for paying it off in January. So that money is sitting in that account as well. So with that, that ends my Friday video for this week. We went over my overall budget for the month of November. We kind of got a glimpse ahead into December, and we also allocated my flex income that I had sitting ready to assign from this week. So if you liked this video, again, I'm going to be making videos every Friday and every other Wednesday. Go ahead and subscribe. That way you don't miss my next videos, and turn on that notification bell so you get notified when I do drop videos. And I'll see you in the next one.